There's nothing. Nothing. I sense nothing.
Hey, it's Janelle Waz, and Deanna Troi lied on her resume, didn't she?
I got this job because I lied on my resume.
As ship's counselor, Counselor Troi is in charge of the mental well-being of everyone on board the Enterprise as they encounter weird space faces, sleep-deprived mania, and cute.
These aren't my colors.
But Deanna had a biological advantage in her line of work, her empathic abilities. Sure, as she's not a full betazoid with full telepathic capabilities, she can't just directly access someone's thoughts. Except when she can.
Do you remember what I taught you, Imzadi? Can you still sense my thoughts?
But as a half-betazoid, she can sense the emotional states of those around her. Except when she can't.
What is it?
I don't know. I thought I was the empath.
Well, clearly not! As much as everyone makes a big deal out of Counselor Troi being able to sense tension, anger, and even fear, her actual effectiveness is somewhat dubious. The ability to sense the emotions of whoever the Enterprise is dealing with that week, it could have been a pretty useful tool. In practice, though?
If he's lying, I haven't been able to sense it. He's very closed. But he is hiding something. He's hiding something.
Well, gee, Deanna, could you, I don't know, be more specific? Which leads me to something I've long suspected. That Deanna Troi lied on her resume and is being purposely vague to cover it up.
I'm sensing a presence on the planet. Very vague.
And of course, full disclaimers, this isn't a personal attack on Marina Sirtis, and to be honest, I do like Deanna Troi, or at the very least, the idea of her. As harsh as I'm about to be in this video, it's about how her character was written. In other words, not well.
I can only tell you that I sense something very unusual about him.
Look, if Deanna was primarily a counselor that just dealt with the crew, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But she has a seat on the bridge, and Picard frequently asks her if she senses anything. And rarely does she ever. I suppose you can argue it's similar to Worf constantly getting his ass handed to him on the regular. The intended purpose is to show how dire the situation is. But in practice, it kinda shows that he's incompetent at his job. It's the same with Deanna Troi. The intent is to show that the Enterprise really has no idea what they're dealing with, and they have to go in blind. The actual result, however, makes us question why Troi even has a seat on the bridge. Why do we keep you around, Deanna? Either Troi lied on her resume, or she's a cut-rate empath, because most of her empathic readings are either vague observations or stating the obvious. In other words, it doesn't take an empath to tell us what she's telling us. Oh, we just caught Tomalak about to cross the neutral zone to recover a totally scientific craft. Relations with the Romulans have been icy at best, and you could cut the tension between Picard and Tomalak with a knife?
There's great hostility behind his smile.
Well, no Deanna! Gee, what gave you that idea? Was it Tomalak's complete demeanor change during the conversation? Or was it the fact that he's clearly lying and Picard's not buying it? You just caught a Romulan with his hand in the neutral zone cookie jar. What else would you have expected? Alright, we got a crystalline entity attack, and we finally have witnesses. Let's get the leading expert on the crystalline entity on board, who clearly has it in for Data and makes no secret of it during the initial meeting.
I don't think you need an empath to sense that woman's feelings.
Really, Deanna? What convinced you of that? Was it the fact that Dr. Marr's son was killed by the crystalline entity and she suspects Data was working with it like Lore was, and therefore refused to address him during the meeting? Or was it when she straight up said that she doesn't want Data on her away team? I'm just not sure.
There's hostility that she seems to have transferred from Lore to Data. Really?
Darmok, Rob, Tamok.
Well, it seems to be a point of contention between them.
Well, that settles it. Call Jake Sisko the reporter. Troi has cracked the Tamarian language. Sorry, Jean-Luc. Telling Captain Dathan the Epic of Gilgamesh pales in comparison to Troi masterfully deducing a point of contention between two yelling aliens. Klingon exobiologist on board who might be responsible for a data breach? And he's denying everything despite evidence pointing to him? Heck, he's even saying they're accusing him because he's Klingon? With Worf in the room?
You accuse me because I am Klingon.
Well, Deanna, what do you think?
It's hard to tell, but he is hiding something.
Gee, why didn't I think of that?
But you have a Betazoid counselor. Surely you're aware of the advantages.
Really? What might that be?
My instructions were clear.
They were not.
I sense a touch of hostility here, gentlemen.
Deanna, they're Klingons and they're yelling at each other. Of course there's hostility! And there are many, many other instances of this occurring. Troi adds next to nothing to the conversation. You could take her out of the episode and it changes nothing. Heck, one episode she straight up lost her powers and it was mostly business as usual. Except she yelled at everyone. Or better yet, was it all an act? Was someone suspecting that she lied on her resume and to cover herself put the truth in plain sight?
You're all blank to me.
Although, come on Deanna, you're going a little overboard for someone who lost an ability that was more of an advantage than anything else in regular conversation. I mean, do you lose your crap over every alien you can't read?
You have no idea.
Now, Deanna, it says in your resume here that you can read everyone from humans, Vulcans, Romulans, and Ferengi.
We Beta Zeds are uncomfortable with species like the Ferengi, whose minds we can't read.
Casualties of war, Captain.
He's lying. I'm almost sure of it. He doesn't mean what he says.
Amusing, you might trust each other.
I sense the same thing, Captain. He's hiding something.
Deanna, would you care to explain this? But okay, say Deanna was truthful about her empathic abilities. She didn't lie on her resume, but perhaps exaggerated a bit.
You lied.
I exaggerated.
Because her powers seem to work or not work at the most inopportune times. The bonding? The away team is exploring the planet and she had a good 15 seconds where she felt something bad was happening and then decided to tell Picard to beam them all up. And someone died because she waited all that time. Seconds matter, Deanna! If you feel something, say something! What about the time Riker was accused by the wife of the scientist he supposedly killed of, let's keep it PG, folks. Let's just say improper behavior.
She was lying. You could tell.
I didn't sense any deception from her.
See, this is what's frustrating, and the episode doesn't even address this. They can't both be telling the truth. Riker claims she came on to him. She claims he gave her unwanted attention. We as the audience like Riker. He's accused of not one, but two heinous crimes. And then Deanna muddies the water further. Even Lloyd Braun fooled you, Deanna? And not just in the relationship by being kinda creepy, but even by doing some very sketchy negotiation tactics? He wasn't even half Betazoid, he was a quarter. You're getting owned by an even weaker empath. Do we even want to get into the paternity scandal between the doctor from season 2 of Sequest DSV, this nerdy guy, and Mr. Business in the front? What the hell is that in the back?
If I had told you that I was giving the jewel to Devon's daughter, you'd have disowned me.
Now we're hearing some truth.
Shouldn't you have been able to tell us someone wasn't being truthful here? No, he's hiding something. Heck, he's being incredibly evasive. Anything? I know I've been coming down hard on Deanna a lot in this video, and just to clarify again, I do like her. It's the writing. But I always try to end these kinds of videos on a positive note. And yes, there are a handful of times where Deanna Troi is actually somewhat useful. Heck, I praised her in my video covering Suddenly Human that she was the one who sensed young warriors in training were indeed on board a Talarian ship in distress, and it wasn't a well-known booby trap the Talarians had been known to set. She even gave some decent counseling advice in that episode. See, writers, it doesn't take much to prove Deanna was qualified to be on the bridge. Heck, The Face of the Enemy is one of her best episodes, and her empathic abilities came in handy when she was kidnapped, surgically altered to appear Romulan, and had to pretend to be a member of the Tal Shiar or be killed.
I've gone along with all your plans. Now you are going to listen to me.
And Dark Page, in my opinion, excellent episode, and showcases the Betazoid telepathic mother-daughter link between Deanna and Oksana. And that's what's frustrating when it comes to Deanna. She had potential. She was capable of good writing. Her empathic abilities could have been used as an interesting plot device. It's just that it so rarely happened, which is a shame. Well, at least she has those cute outfits.
I'd appreciate it if you wore a standard uniform when you're on duty.
Oh, son of a... But that's all I have for now about Deanna Troi, her dubious empathic abilities, and her sketchy resume. And of course, this was all in good fun, pointing out some of the weaker aspects of a show that I love. But now what do you think? How could Deanna and her empathic abilities have been handled better? Do you agree with me that they had potential, or was no amount of good writing enough to salvage either of them? And most importantly, how much did Deanna fudge her resume? Please, leave comments below and discuss. As always, thanks for tuning in to another Star Trek video. If you like what you see, why not give my video a like and subscribe to my channel? Tell your friends! Until next time...
You're all blank to me.